Hi guys, hope you're doing great this evening. It's Fred and Sheila.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Sheila and I's there's been a couple of news updates on the London shooting on Doug Harless.
Doug Harless, yes.
So we'll start off from there. Sheila will show the first video, we'll comment a little bit, and then we'll go to the second one. That'd be what we had.
Okay, here we go.
He shot and killed a man while allegedly serving a warrant at the wrong home. Court documents now confirming that police were looking for a stolen weed eater.
As Lauren Miner tells us, the suspect in the theft had already been arrested hours before the shooting.
I just don't understand why it went to this. I mean, how did it lead to this? I know that's what everybody else is asking too.
49-year-old Hobert or Hobert Buttery is currently behind bars at the Laurel County Correctional Center charged with theft. Thursday afternoon, he appeared in front of a judge for a preliminary hearing. He then agreed to a sit-down interview.
I got a weed eater and a little heater, a little baseboard heater like that. Was sitting on the outside, but now they're saying I went in and took backpacks, weed eater, blowers and everything.
According to Buttery's arrest citation, officers were called to Taylor Drive in London for a reported burglary. Police say lawn equipment was stolen from the property of Laurel County Judge Executive David Westerfield.
Last Sunday night, there was items stolen from my property. What was stolen?
You know, guys, he just brought up an interesting fact there. Sheila and I, or at least a comment, Sheila and I hadn't discussed this earlier, but he was talking about, all this time, everybody's been talking about weed eater. Weed eater, and then it was a weed eater and a heater. And then the other day, for the preliminary, it was over $1,000. That way it made it a Class D felony. Now, it's going to be interesting to see, again, this affidavit, because let's see if that affidavit states weed eater, just weed eater, if it states weed eater and heater, and that's all, or if it states weed eater, heater, and like he said just now, he said now they've added blowers and different things. Now, if the affidavit, if what they went to, wherever they went to, 489, 511, 515, whatever they were looking for should be stated in that affidavit for the search warrant.
Okay.
So at one time it was just a weed eater, then it was a weed eater and a heater. Now he's saying here that now they've got me charged with taking blowers and backpacks and all kinds of stuff. So do they? Did somebody up the ante on them? And now some other items have been added?
Wow.
We don't know. That's what he's saying. I'm going to tell you, the guy seems to be truthful on anything else he's stating. You'll hear here in a minute where he talks about Mr. Harless. So, but that would be something, again, that will be proven with that search warrant affidavit, exactly what they were searching, whichever resident is on there, what they were wanting to look for.
Hey, here we go.
Stolen did not belong to me. It belonged to a person that was using my garage to store his equipment in. And I was out of town when this happened. I knew nothing more than that about it.
Buttery says he used to work for the man who owned the equipment.
I worked for.
Okay.
I worked on for 20 years.
The citation says camera footage led officials to Buttery, who admitted to taking a heater and weed eater. The Manchester Police Department arrested him the evening of December 23rd.
As far as where those items are now, did you drop them off somewhere? Were they sold somewhere?
No, it wasn't sold.
Okay, but they were dropped off somewhere.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you saying where they were dropped off?
No, but
Police say Buttery admitted that he planned to take the weed eater to a home in Lilly. Buttery denies that claim. According to an affidavit for the search warrant, information obtained through the investigation led London police to a home on Van Zant Road.
Now, did you previously live over on Van Zant Road?
yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. Did you know Doug Harless?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
The warrant details that London police arrived to the home of Doug Harless, 511 Van Zant Road, just hours after Buttery was arrested in Manchester with a search warrant for stolen lawn equipment.
Units on
Okay.
Turning my on and off, so maybe that'll stop that. echoing.
Okay.
Thinking it's coming off mine.
We'll
But
try it and see what happens.
guys, the question is, this search warrant they're talking about, we heard a reporter the other day said that she was reading the search warrant the state police had gotten. And I'd like to know right now, I think that's what this reporter's talking about is the search warrant that the state police got. Has anybody at this point ever got a copy? I know they'd filed open records requests for it, but the original affidavit and the search warrant for the property initially that was the cause of Mr. Harless being shot, or at least the cause of the police being at his residence, and that's the search warrant that we need to be looking at. I don't know if this reporter here is looking at the state police search warrant and stating facts from it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, again, it's like a magician trick. You may be looking at one thing, and that may not be what we need to look at. What we need to look at is that initial affidavit and search warrant that was been executed at 5/11 there when Doug Harless was killed. That's the search warrant and affidavit we need to be looking at. Go ahead.
Okay.
10 serve search warrant. Call on the radio for assistance. Shots fired. 489 Van Zant Road.
Laurel County Dispatch audio confirmed that police were supposed to be serving a search warrant to 489 Van Zant. According to the affidavit, the officers knocked on the front door, announcing themselves as law enforcement with a search warrant. It goes on to say that officers made entry through the front door and found Harless armed with a gun. That's when an officer fired multiple rounds, fatally hitting Harless.
I feel like that it had a lot to do with Hobert Buttery, but it was not his fault for the police going to the wrong address and the wrong house.
A family member of Buttery says someone needs to be held accountable.
They called the warrant 5 times saying 489, and they still were at 511, and Hobie had lived at 515. So that would still put him at the wrong address, no matter what address they would have went into there.
Buttery says he no longer lives on Van Zant Road and doesn't know why police showed up to Harless's home that night.
I think it's wrong. I mean, every bit that's wrong. The way they done it, everything's wrong. I mean, they didn't have no reason to go to that man's house. I didn't tell them nothing about that man, so I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't tell them nothing about that man.
Yep.
They had no reason to go to Doug Harless's house. And that's the comment. That's it. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. That's what we've been waiting on. And there was a video a while back that another news agency did, and he stated something like that, but it don't get no plainer than that. He says, I don't know what he was doing, what they were doing at his house. I never told them nothing on him or mentioned his name or gave them any reason to go there. That's what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
And if he didn't, what is in that affidavit? What is the probable cause to be at that house
That
that's behind us here?
Mm-hmm.
What was you saying?
Let's go to his residence, Mr.
Yeah,
Harless.
guys, I'm not saying accidents don't happen, mistakes
Sure,
don't happen.
sure.
We know this is not if this has ever happened. We know that because there's even been laws changed in Kentucky because of search warrants and people being killed during search warrants and there are legitimate times where things happen but if you're at the wrong address and this happens, and I'm not condemning this police department or doesn't matter which one it is, mistakes happen, but these mistakes these are bad mistakes.
Cost someone their life.
This cost somebody their life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a mistake. That's just pure wrong. Go ahead, babe.
Okay.
Why they was at that man's house, period.
Okay.
I didn't tell them no address. I didn't tell them nothing like that.
Buttery says he knew Harless and talked to him several times when they lived near each other. He says that's why he's sharing his story.
It should never led to this right here. Not a stolen weed eater should not lead up to a man getting killed. I don't care where you're at, what's going on, that should not happen.
And that
we're never going to know. We're never, ever going to know what happened when they kicked open the door or breached the door, whatever they did, ever how they got the door open. We're never going to know what happened. We can hear one side of the story as to what happened because the other side of the story is 6 feet under. Dead man can't talk. So we're always going to have one story there. And okay, you got another one?
Yeah, I've got another short video here to show y'all.
This is the reason we're never going to know. This next video, this was by another news channel, but go ahead.
We're still working to get answers now regarding a deadly London police shooting. Kentucky State Police say an officer shot and killed Douglas Harless at his home in Lilly. That happened 11 days ago, and police have still not released many details.
Knowing London police officers once wore body cameras, WKYT Samantha Valentino filed an open records request for the footage from the night of that shooting. But as she explains tonight, police say there's no body camera footage from that night.
Wow.
In 2016, the London Police Department announced their officers had started wearing body cameras.
It takes that stationary camera from the car and it puts it on the officer and it becomes more mobile.
The department said they obtained 35 cameras and an accompanying computer server for $45,000, paid for using federal dollars seized during criminal investigations. The cameras were to be worn during any law enforcement activity.
After wearing their cameras, officers called them helpful, saying they allowed the community to see how they interact with the public.
It lets the public see how we are, that we are human. We're not these robots out there just mindlessly going around, unruly treating people.
On December 23rd, Kentucky State Police say a London police officer shot and killed Douglas Harless at his home. While KSP initially made no mention of whether Harless was armed at the time, 3 days after the shooting, London police said he was armed and pointed a gun at officers. WKYT's open records request for body camera footage from that night was denied. We were told the footage doesn't exist. Now, through another records request, we've learned London police no longer wear body cameras. According to this directive from then Chief Chuck Johnson, the department, quote, temporarily suspended their use on March 15th, 2023. He wrote that many of the cameras were broken and the department was responsible for the cost of the server, as well as keeping someone on staff to process open records requests for the footage. Former Chief Johnson said in December 2022, the department received a quote for $30,000 for 30 new cameras and cloud storage, noting the cost would increase every year. He said, quote, the department is examining the feasibility of body-worn cameras based on the cost and benefits. In Laurel County, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
Wow. You can, the cost and the benefits. Well, the benefits is that it gives the public trust in what the law enforcement agency tells the public. They can believe. If you show a video of that door opening and a gentleman standing there with a gun, which he should be allowed to have in his house, and somebody hollering and shouting and banging on your door at 12 o'clock at night, but you open the door, at least it would give some vindication to the officer that done the shooting if you had a clear visual of what he's looking at, which is a man with a gun pointed at him. Then we could say, well, he thought he was there legitimately. He thought he was at the right place. It's what he was told. And he was defending himself. Not that the man inside, that he'd done nothing wrong. He didn't know what nobody was doing in his house. We used to do Sheila and I give classes, and we ask people, what do you do when somebody knocks at your door at 3 o'clock in the morning? Absolutely nothing. You do absolutely nothing. Who comes to your door at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning? Who does that? Well, more than likely, if it's not the police serving a search warrant, and if you haven't done nothing wrong, that's not going to happen. So nobody you're going to want to see at 1, 2, 3, 12 o'clock at night. So you do nothing. You don't open the door. You get your gun. You go to a corner away from the door with your back up against a wall. in case somebody's coming in the back door at the same time somebody comes in the front, and where you've got a visual of both doors, or at least the direction of both doors, where you can defend yourself. You get your gun and you sit down in a corner or behind something, take cover or concealment, but you don't open the door for nobody at night. Somebody knocks on your door at nighttime, you don't open the door. Call 911. If there's been a wreck, they need you to call the police, they need you to call an ambulance, that's fine. Get on your phone, call 911, tell them somebody's beating on your door, 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock at night. You need the police there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're going to, if they have an emergency, that's what they're going to tell you. They're going to say, I need you to call the police. And then they get in your house or whatever, and then if something's going to happen, that's how it takes place. So you can automatically call the police for them. You don't have to let them in. You don't even have to talk to them. Stay in your house. Your home is your castle. Your home is your castle doctrine here in Kentucky. You're allowed to feel safe and be safe in your own home and defend yourself. They was talking about budgets, talking about money, saving money. Well, I got news for you. When this is all over for Mr. Harless's daughter and grandson, I have a feeling they're going to pay a whole lot more than what a few body cameras would have cost them for the career of that police department problem. It's what you do. That's where lawsuits come in at. When you're wronged, you file a lawsuit. Remember the old movie that used to come on, Don't Take the Law into Your Own Hands? Remember People's Court? You don't remember that? Yeah, there used to be a movie. Come on. Don't take the law into your own hands. Take them to court. Boom, 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 and that music would play.
I remember, what is it, Judge Judy, but...
Yeah, no, that's... But, and that's what you do. You take, this is a case this will be a civil case, no doubt. And the punishment will be substantial, no doubt. Yeah. And it should be. It should be. Over trying to save money over video cameras. In fact, according to the law that I read, and I could be wrong, according to the new law that went into effect that I read, it's the law that there should have been a camera on those officers. Now, I could be wrong. That's not, again, I'm wrong a lot of times. People correct me. Thank you guys for the corrections. I'm not beyond making mistakes, especially at my age, and I've been out of it for a while. But she's going to show you something now, and I want to show you something. They got a quote of $30,000, $45,000, and had to have a monthly fee or whatever update.
Server fee and stuff.
Server fee.
And then they said they'd have to hire somebody to go through the footage to give it.
Sheila done some research here, and this is some of the things that I carried when I was a police officer. $49. $49. You got a little SD card you stick in the side of the handle there, the whatever thing's called, goes around your ear. You drop that little SD card down in there, you charge it up with that little cord, you push a button when you get ready to make a traffic stop. You can get reading glasses or you can get sunglasses. Of course, we know all police officers wear sunglasses because we're out in the sun a lot. We're on the highway. That's what we do. But you don't even know, person don't even know they're being taped as far as that, and it gives you some protection.
Exactly.
And if you're not going to do nothing wrong, then who wouldn't want to be taping? That just proves that something did or didn't happen. There's many times that they've come in handy. $49, not $30,000.
No, you can get them, you can buy more expensive ones if you want, but I mean, those work really well.
Oh, yeah, that's what we always got was the cheap ones. I'd sit on them or I'd do something to them and I'd have to order several, but you can get them up there $100, $150, but I mean, $150 pair's great.
Yeah.
Not $30,000. And, and this is something, especially in a case like this, if an officer wanted to prove something that happened and he knows that it happened, and I wish I'd had this on, then, they can always say, well, we lost the SD card. We did this. We didn't have the... Okay. But if it's something good that could show or prove a person's innocence, I guarantee you that it won't be lost. Or go ahead, babe.
Yeah, each one of them has the little SD cards.
Yeah.
And you just take them out and you can download them to whatever.
Yeah.
And create a file for each officer, and that way all they have to do is click on the officer's name and there's what he did for the day or whatever.
Well, even each individual officer could do their own. I mean, you know, for goodness sakes, what happened to the trust and the integrity and the character we used to have in police officers? Are we not? Do we have to? Yeah, I watch YouTube videos too, people. I see what goes on. I'm disappointed because it's. Go ahead, babe.
Hey, here's the next thing you can get.
Go ahead. Tell.
This here is a pen, and you just put it in your pocket. It's got a little camera there, as you can see, and it records. It's a body camera. It's a pen, and it even writes.
$34. It's an ink pen that writes. Up here on the top, got one of those.
Yep.
And up there on top, you push a button, and it starts recording. It's in your pocket. But the head of the camera is pointing out, and it's just like a body camera, only it's not this big, huge thing in the middle of your chest with the red lights flashing.
Right.
But you've got that on tape. Whatever encounter, whatever assault, whatever.
And it holds a SD card as well, and you just take it out.
Holds a small SD card. Take it out and download it to your computer. And next.
And then, of course, you have
GoPro.
GoPro, yeah.
Any YouTuber knows what a GoPro is. $179. These come with straps that you can put on your hat, you can put on your chest, you can pin on your shirt, just like a GoPro. But it's just like the body cams, only it don't have that price tag with it because it's going to a police department. But each individual officer, if they had to buy one of these themselves, and I've bought my own before, and just to have for my protection.
Right. So, I mean, there's...
That's the last one.
Yeah, that's 3 things that we brought up that
We're not
they
going to beat a dead horse, guys.
Right.
Again, mistakes happen, accidents happen, but this right here is happening way too often. This is not the first time this has happened. This happened in Louisville. This happens in different states, all over. And we're counting on our police officers, no matter what agency. I'm not on a particular agency. I'm not, but something went bad wrong here.
Yeah.
In either the address, the description of the house, the search warrant. Why 12 days later and we still haven't seen a affidavit or a search warrant, and they wonder why people's questioning. They wonder why the news keeps going back and asking questions. That's why they're going to keep asking questions till they get some answers.
Yeah.
If nothing's wrong, we already realize there's a mistake. This guy here says himself that he never mentioned Mr. Harless's name. He never said anything about him. He didn't do nothing. He didn't have no involvement in it. He didn't know why they was at his house. Well, why were they? Who wrote the search warrant affidavit? Who filed for the search warrant? Who stood there in front of that judge and swore to whatever's on that search warrant? Something is not. Somebody wrote on one of the posts and said, this is not passing the smell test.
Yeah.
Is it wrong to ask questions when we have something like this happen? This man's life is gone. His grandchild has no grandfather.
Yep, I agree.
What you got, babe?
You've covered everything there.
Guys, thanks for joining us. We hope we're not we don't mean to be cynical or we realize we're all human beings.
Right.
But in certain jobs in life, and that's why we hold certain positions, whether it's chief, assistant chief, detective, whatever it might be, evidence technician. But we're supposed to be knowledgeable of what that position expects of us. And so things like this don't happen. And something definitely went wrong here.
Yeah, terribly wrong. Yep.
Maybe someday, it's 12 days into it. Maybe someday, I don't know if we have to wait till civil court, to civil cases out there or what, before we ever find out the truth. But the truth hurts sometimes, but sometimes you have to tell it just so people will quit. Inquisitive minds want to know.
Won't make the same mistake.
people want to know, and you know that. What happened there?
I don't know.
Oh, my phone went off?
Yeah. I think that's what it was,
Oh,
baby.
the fire alarm went off. People, nowadays with YouTube and with social media, news travels faster. It's not like once upon a time. So we need answers, guys.
Yeah.
Need answers. Need search warrant affidavits released. Search warrants. Need to know what happened. Who's at fault? Hold them accountable. Move on.
Who was the first who entered the house?
Well, see, again,
They're not
according
telling
to,
anything.
and I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I tell everybody this, but from the way I read the newspaper, the law that had passed, and that was just this year that I read it when this all happened, was that you're supposed to have a camera. If there was no camera there, why? At least, they say they quit carrying body cams. Okay. You may have quit carrying body cams, but somebody, according to that new law, should have had a camera on that entry. And it should have been specialized. Something's not right.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys. We hope y'all stay safe and warm. There's a winter storm about to hit. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye. God bless.